Good evening or good afternoon. Welcome to our evening presentation, or good morning in the Philippines, for our friends around the world, our international friends. We are glad that you have chosen to join us in our presentation this evening. Welcome to our health presentation, and thank you for joining us again through Facebook Live and YouTube channel. We hope that you all have a great week. May God continue to bless you all. But before we hear our health lecture from Dr. Frias, let's hear our opening song or opening special music by Fred Son Frias.
This is my cousin. I'm gonna bring my cousin to sing special music for us this evening.
He promised us that he would be a counselor, a mighty God and the Prince of Peace. He promised us that he would be a father and that he would love us with a love that would not cease. Well, I tried him and I found his promises are true. He's everything he said that he would be. The finest words I know could not begin to tell just what Jesus really means to me. He's more wonderful than my mind can conceive. He's more wonderful than my heart can believe. He goes beyond my highest hopes and fondest dreams. Everything that my soul ever longed for, everything he's promised, and so much more than amazing, more than marvelous, more than miraculous could ever be. I stand amazed just to think that the King of Glory would come to live within the heart of man. I marvel just to know he really loves me when I think of who he is and who I am. He's more wonderful than my mind can conceive. He's more wonderful than my heart can believe. He goes beyond my
Thank you very much. Amen. That was my cousin, Fredson Frias. He has quite a few songs, but I suggested to him, if possible, try to type some words with the song because I feel better with that because of the, this is when people in different places are watching and at least they can read something of what the person is singing about. But I like to use more of his songs anyway. So every now and then we're gonna plug him to sing some of his songs. Thank you so much again for being with us here this evening again for joining us. And some of you were with us this morning. I hope you enjoyed the program this morning. And if you missed this morning presentation, you can go back to Facebook or you can go to YouTube. And as I have mentioned to you, if you'd like to support our ministry, you'd like to help us also, when you go to YouTube and search Noel Frias, and you will see my photo there. There are so many Noel Friases there from different places. There's a black guy, there's a white guy, brown, all kinds of color. Maybe I was the brown. I'm the brown. Now, and click subscribe. Please click subscribe and also notification. And in that way, you're also helping us being able to expose our program to more people. And the more exposure we have, the more people we're able to serve. And the more people are benefited with our program. And so I would like to continue asking for your support and continue to follow us, please. And in the comment section, you can also see us in Facebook. And in the comment section, you can put comment there. If you have a question about certain things that I might have discussed or whatever, please ask the question, even if it's not pertaining to the topic that I have discussed, because I will try to find some sources to find the answer. And the more questions you have, the more it gives me a challenge to do more studies and more research. And I enjoy doing research. That's what I do during the week. I do research for things that I would like to present to you every Saturday. We are retired and we have nothing to do. This keeps us busy. Besides enjoying nature out there, taking a walk, exercising, and trying to live a healthy, happy lifestyle, we said that we should give back something to the community. At least we should share something. And so we have thought of this online ministry to be able to share something spiritually for those people who would like to learn the pathway to eternal life, who would like to study, who would like to learn about God's roadmap to everlasting life. And for those people who might not want that everlasting life road, they can listen to our evening presentation, which is about health. So at least they can enjoy a good health while staying in this earth, because this is for those who do not achieve this eternal life from God. The only life that they can expect, according to the Bible, is only this life on earth. After this, nothing else. Because it's only for those who God invites to go to his eternal kingdom in heaven. They are the only ones who will be achieving this eternal life with God. Anyway, before we go to our topic, I would like to invite you again for a short prayer. Dear God, we invite you again this evening in our health lecture. Please help us so that with the presentation that I'll give, people will learn something on what to do with regard to this disease that I'm going to discuss this evening. So again, please grace us with your presence, and may everything that I'll say will benefit the listeners. We ask all this favor in Jesus' holy name I pray. Amen. Now, the topic that we're going to study this evening is about the subject of beriberi. We'd like to see it on the screen now. So this is the subject, this is the topic of our study today, beriberi. Now, what is this? What kind of disease is beriberi? A disease condition caused by deficiency of vitamin B1. It is rare, fewer than 10,000 cases per year in Canada. So it's not very common here in Canada. And treatment from medical professional is advised if you encounter this kind of disease, and often requires a lab test or imaging to find out about it. If it's in your body, it can last several months, and it can be dangerous or it can be life-threatening also if untreated. And urgent medical attention is recommended. So after the study here, if you notice some symptoms based on our study this evening, you should always get medical attention. Medical attention is recommended because this kind of disease can be dangerous and can be life-threatening. Now, beriberi is a very rare disease which is caused by nutritional deficiency in vitamin B1 or in thiamine. According to recent research, this disorder is very rare in the United States and in Canada. So it's not very familiar here. Beriberi is a nutritional disorder formerly widespread in rice-eating people of the East. So I know that in the Philippines, this is I've heard about this disease quite a bit. It's quite common there because it says here that it is quite common in places where people eat rice. So rice is good to eat, but maybe not to eat too much of rice. Beriberi is a disease caused by a vitamin B1 deficiency, also known as thiamine deficiency. There are two types of this disease. One is called wet beriberi, and the other one is dry beriberi. So what is dry beriberi? Let's study this first. It's a vitamin deficiency disease caused by inadequate bodily stores of thiamine. It can damage the heart and nervous system. So it's quite a dangerous disease because if it damages your heart, the heart is the center of our the function. It helps in making all the parts of our body function because through the heart and the nervous system as well. What is thiamine? Thiamine is also called vitamin B1. It's found in both plants and animals, mainly lean pork, beef, liver, peas, beans, whole or enriched grains, and breads. It assists in metabolism and processing of food taken in by the body. It is required to form an important coenzyme known as thiamine pyrophosphate. Now here are the diagrams for it, which I don't have to discuss because I know that it will not be understood by most people. But overview here. Two major manifestations. Wet beriberi is a cardiovascular disease. And then dry beriberi is a nervous system disease. Both types caused by a deficiency in thiamine, which can be precipitated by excessive alcohol consumption or a diet high in white rice. So it is always recommended, even in other health lectures, that we should try to avoid eating white rice. If possible, just eat the brown rice or, you know, the other kinds of rice, not the white rice. As a matter of fact, in some of the studies I made, I said avoid all the whites, all the white food. White milk, for example, is white. White bread, white rice, all those. White sugar, avoid all of them. Anything white. Now, do not avoid white people because they are great people. Nervous system symptoms caused by the degeneration of nerve fibers and their insulation. Heart failure is the most common cause of death in people with beriberi. Heart failure, and you don't want your heart to fail. That's why you got to try to watch out and guard your body so you do not have this kind of disease. Here are some signs and symptoms of beriberi. Early neurologic symptoms. One is complaints of symmetric, tingling, or burning pain in the extremities. You feel some burning pain in extremities of your body. And that could be one sign. If you're eating too much rice, you start to feel that also. Numbness in the extremity. Sometimes you feel numb in some of the parts of your extremities of your body. Or vomiting. Strange eye movement. Sometimes you feel like your eyes is moving and you're not even moving it. Seems like it's shaking and trembling a little bit. And later, that's called nystagmus. And later, neurologic symptoms that are caused are mental confusion, speech difficulties, difficulty in walking. So you have a difficulty in walking, or maybe coma, you go into coma. And another symptom is death. Of course, if you have that kind of symptom of death, you will not know anything about it because you die. So, but it's a dangerous disease. That's why you have to watch out for it. And early neurologic symptoms, complaints of symmetric tingling or burning pain in the extremities, numbness of the extremities, vomiting, strange eye movements, as I mentioned earlier. And later neurologic symptoms are the following: mental confusion. Sometimes you're confused and you're talking to somebody and somebody is asking you something, you're confused with the answer sometimes, and because your mind might be thinking of something else. Difficulty in walking. So if you find that you start to have difficulty in walking, check it out. You might start having this beriberi, and you go into coma or you die. Or number 3 is heart failure symptoms like shortness of breath with exertion. So shortness of breath usually is common in many diseases, and it's also one of the symptoms of COVID-19, for example. And symmetric swelling of the lower legs. That's probably why check it when you have shortness of breath, because it might also be COVID-19. Symmetric swelling of the lower legs. Lower legs start to swell. Awakening at night, short of breath. So you're sleeping and suddenly you wake up because you seem like you're running short of breath. And then GI symptom, loss of appetite. You lose appetite in eating, or indigestion, or you have severe constipation and lack of hydrochloric acid in the stomach. So those are some of the symptoms. If you lack hydrochloric acid in your stomach, you also experience this. And severe constipation. You have a hard time moving out your waste of your body. And if you have this disease, you could look terrible, like these people here. Now, and you probably don't like to look like one of these. See? So, and your feet could also be swelling somewhere in the extremities. You see on the right here. So that's a sign. If your legs start to look like that, it could be a sign of beriberi. It's different from varicose vein uh, because there's some kind of inflammation with it. Of course, varicose vein sometimes also have that. Complications. Psychosis is one, or you go into coma, congestive heart failure, and death. Death is always there, so that's why it's a very dangerous disease, because death is always one of the signs. Now, the test includes the following. One, measurement of your blood, thiamine, and whole blood or erythrocyte transcytolase activity. Measurement of the urinary thiamine excretion and clinical response to administered thiamine. A person with late-stage beriberi may be confused or have memory loss and delusion. So that is also one of the some of the causes here. Memory loss or confusion if you're starting to be forgetful often. Tests include, here are the tests that are included to find out if you have this kind of disease. Measurement of the blood, thiamine, and whole blood of erythrocyte, transcytolase activity, measurement of urinary thiamine excretion, clinical response to administered thiamine. Person with late-stage beriberi may be confused or have memory loss and delusion. And physical examination may show signs of congestive heart failure also. Neurological examination may show a loss of vibratory sensation, decreased reflexes. Your reflexes become slow, loss of coordination, and there's a gait changes, nystagmus ptosis, and ophthalmoplegia. Now here's a photo of an image of cardiac enlargement in a pig's heart. On the left here, it looks as the heart of a normal pig, smaller. But on the right, a heart of a pig with beriberi, with thiamine deficiency. So it even the heart is inflamed, is becomes bigger, enlarged. And here are some suggestions to treat beriberi. Administration of thiamine by injection with pills. It's one, and also patients should also receive therapeutic doses of other water-soluble vitamins. So here there are some supplements called vitamin B1 or thiamine hydrochloride. These are ways to cure them, but do not administer this to yourself, because you might not be sure, it might not be beriberi that you might be having. Go check with the doctor first, who will let you go through this different tests and diagnosis, and after that they themselves will probably recommend these kinds of treatment for you. Prognosis. Cardiac damage usually is reversible, and full recovery is expected after treatment. That's why it's good to go to a doctor right away and have yourself checked if you notice or detect some of these symptoms, so that, because once the treatment is given to you, usually you become fully recovered. However, in conjunction with acute heart failure, recovery rate is greatly reduced. If you wait too long, and sometimes even if you're treated, your recovery might take long if it already went to the extent of giving you acute heart failure. Nervous system damage also is reversible if it is caught early. So everything that is caught early is usually reversed back to the normal condition of your body. If not, symptoms such as memory loss may not be completely recovered with treatment. Untreated beriberi is often fatal. If you do not treat beriberi, you could die. And it's mentioned that again. Prevention. Prevention, one way of preventing it is adequate intake of thiamine, particularly by pregnant or breastfeeding women. Some women die when they deliver birth to a child because they're suffering from intake of adequate thiamine. So heavy drinkers also should try to cut down or quit and supplement diets with B vitamins. The B vitamins are quite important to take. Vitamin 1, vitamin 12, vitamin B complex to ensure appropriate intake of thiamine also. Now, references. We have all kinds of references here where to find information about beriberi. And I've used some of these references with my research. And summary slides. Here is a summary of this kind of disease. A vitamin deficiency disease caused by inadequate bodily stores of thiamine. Vitamin B1 found in both plants and animals, mainly lean pork, beef, liver, peas, beans, whole or enriched grains, and breads. Assist in metabolism and processing of food taken in by the body. Is required to form an important coenzyme known as thiamine pyrophosphate, made up of pyrimidine, thiazole, plus 2 phosphates. Thiamine pyrophosphate is required in the Krebs cycle to convert pyruvic acid into acetyl generating NADH for the electron transport chain. Signs and symptoms. Early neurologic symptom, tingling, pain, and numbness in the extremities, vomiting, and nystagmus. Those are some of the symptoms that you should watch for. Later, neurologic symptoms, mental confusion, speech difficulties, difficulty walking, difficulty, and also coma and death. And also here, heart failure symptoms, SOB, leading to disturbed sleep, symmetric swelling of the lower legs. You have swelling in the legs. GI symptoms, loss of appetite, indigestion, severe constipation, lack of HCl in the stomach. Complications, psychosis, coma, congestive heart failure, and death. Death is always mentioned. That's why you have to be careful with this kind of disease. Person with late stage beriberi may be confused or have memory loss and delusions. A physical examination may show signs of congestive heart failure. Neurological examination may show a loss of vibratory, sensitive, discretal reflexes, loss of coordination, gait changes, and nystagmus. Also, ptosis and ophthalmoplegos. And test includes measurement of the blood thiamine and whole blood and erythrocyte transketolase activity. Measurement of the urinary thiamine excretion, clinical response to administered thiamine, and the treatment will include administration of thiamine by injection and with pills. Patients should also receive therapeutic doses of other water-soluble vitamins. So these are the information that I would like to share to you or share with you uh, about this disease called beriberi. This is a short subject, but it's quite important also. We're trying to take up all the different diseases one by one. And beriberi happened to have a short information about it, but at least it has enough information to alarm you so that you can be careful of having this kind of disease. Anyway, since we only consume half an hour time, I would like to share with you more information about this disease that is continuously lingering around with us right now. And you know what it is. Maybe we can talk a little bit more about it. I know I took up this subject one time already, but I don't mind reviewing some of the information on it again, because this is a problem, a big problem for us. There are many people still continuously suffering. We have a couple of friends in the Philippines who is in the hospital right now because they were also infected with this disease of COVID-19. So, coexisting with COVID-19, here are some information. This might or might not be part of my lecture about COVID-19. And Next Generation Medicine presents Making Sense of COVID-19 Vaccine. So the vaccine is actually being recommended rigorously because they say it makes sense. And contact tracing is also very important. Contact tracing is a critical tool in fighting this COVID-19 pandemic, enabling health officials to track and slow the disease spread. Mobile phones offer opportunities to improve the accuracy of contact tracing, but come with the risk of creating a new surveillance infrastructure. So contact tracing could include checking yourself. Everybody is looking for someone who might be suspected to have this COVID-19, and we have to report them so that at least something could be done, and it could prevent the spread of it if those people contacting this disease will be treated immediately. Protest for Soul Nation. 2020 is a year like we have never witnessed, a pandemic that exposed structural health inequalities was followed by the largest civil rights upspring in American history against police violence and system racism. The sustained demonstrations and radical imagination of protesters have challenged and remade the relationship between government and citizens. Associate Professor of Science Ming Francis discussed how we got into this urgent moment, the role organized protest can play in the upcoming election and future of the fair and robust democracy. Anyway, with this disease lingering too long, people are getting impatient and bored. That's why we have so many protests and radical behaviors of people, and it's a big problem. It's creating a better normal, improving population health for everyone, but it also made us aware to be careful. And this washing of hands, these different ways on keeping yourself clean, and also keeping yourself protected by wearing masks or face covering, so that germs, you can protect yourself from germs and you can protect your germs from going to other people. Those are good suggestion. Now the question is there an end in sight for this COVID-19? COVID-19 pandemic tells us about science and society. And here, let me just go to some important subjects. What's this? Institution, ambiguous laws, grieving the time of COVID-19. Here, the impact of COVID-19 in school. The impact it's causing even damages to children. Instead of them being able to dialogue with other children in school, they are kept at home studying in their computers, and it's not very easy to study in the computer. I've tried that in webinars. It's better to go to a classroom with somebody explaining and giving lectures. Anyway, here, surviving the coronavirus epidemic. Now, let me just share with you a little bit about how to fight coronavirus. You have to know about the symptoms of coronavirus. The symptoms is just like having a flu. When you notice every time you feel like, I think you're gonna have a flu or some signs of flu. What are the signs of flu? Maybe headache, having fever, sore throat, start coughing, or muscle aches, or even losing appetite, things like that. Those are symptoms of you might be having COVID-19. And then one main symptom is your smell. This things, the smell and the taste of yours is unfavorable. You don't like the smell of things. It seems like there's a particular smell that is very unpleasant to you, and the taste, you don't like the taste. That's why you lose appetite. And so once you notice one of those symptoms, you have to be careful. You know, with COVID-19, when you notice a symptom that you're about to have one or a flu, you have to fight it rigorously right away. Fight it rigorously and vigorously. And because if you don't fight it, that is how you get compromised. So when you start having a sore throat, for example, start having sore throat, what you have got to do, because it is said that this virus, when it comes to you, it usually lives in a colder area, colder in your throat. If you're breathing cold air, they like to stay there. So one of the ways to fight it rigorously when you start having sore throat is you gargle hot water with as hot as possible that you can take with salt. Don't take it because not good. There's a lot of salt, and gargle it. And another way is you boil water, put some ginger and garlic or salt there, lemon, put those things, and then boil the water and get a piece of towel on top of your head and inhale it for as long as you can. Inhale through your nose, inhale through your mouth, because that is one way of, because this coronavirus, they dissolve when you do that with this steam, hot steam. They just dissolve and they disappear. So you do that right away. Fight it rigorously. Maybe every 2 or 3 hours you do that until your sore throat is gone. And you can even take some of these what you call that the sore lozenges, lozenges which has antibiotics to help it kill them there. And also, so that is one way. And then you're gonna get fever. When you're having fever, you have to check your temperature all the time, and every time you have high temperature, you take Tylenol. Take Tylenol, but every 4 hours you have to check yourself. If your fever comes back, you have to take Tylenol again. Take Tylenol because there's no really actual cure for coronavirus. So you have to fight it yourself with your immune system. And you have to drink plenty of liquid. Do not drink cold water. Drink warm or hot water that you can take. That's what you do. And then if you are having a problem breathing, you try to get hold of this puffer that the asthmatic people use and inhale them. And because you have a problem in breathing, you get this Vicks Vaporub and put it in your nose here. So at least it helps you breathe better, and your smell is better. And even if your taste is, the taste of food is not appealing to you, you gotta force yourself to eat so that uh, your body is taking some substances from food, which is good for you to improve or to strengthen your immune system. And then have plenty of rest, sleep, do a lot, have plenty of rest. We have heard of somebody in the Philippines who is a doctor. Take vitamin D also, maybe 5,000, 5 to about 6,000 milligrams of vitamin D. So if you have the 1,000, it takes about 6 of that a day, because vitamin D and vitamin C as well. And do not ignore it. We know we've heard of somebody in the Philippines who was a doctor. A doctor. He's supposed to know what to do, but he started getting this flu, and he ignored it. He just ignored it and assumed that it's just a normal cold or flu, and he still continued playing tennis and everything. He was compromised. He died, and he's a young guy, only about in his 40s. So do not ignore it. Do not ignore when you notice some of these symptoms of COVID-19. Fight it right away. Fight it. And every 3 or 4 hours, this inhaling of steam is very helpful. Very helpful. Steam, put some salt in it and everything. And then if you have a sauna, go to your sauna, or jacuzzi, something hot. You gotta speed yourself and stop going to cold places. Do not breathe cold air, because this cold air will make it grow more. If you're breathing cold air, if the air is cold, don't go out and breathe. Go to your heated pot there and steam, like inhale some steam. And even in the evening, when you wake up, go and inhale some steam. There's some kettle that you can just plug into electric to continue to give you steam. So plug it right away and inhale some steam. Fight it until you get rid of it. Do you have to do it? You have to fight it yourself. Because if you don't fight it yourself and you are brought to the hospital, your chances are lessened a lot. Because in the hospital, they'll put you in the intensive care unit, and then somehow, I'm not trying to put down the hospital. It's always good to go there for emergency reasons and for treatment. But if you can fight it at home before you go to a serious condition, it's much better, and you have more chances of getting well. So you have to fight this, and you have to pray. You have to pray a lot, because prayer helps. You have to pray day and night, talk to God. Continuously praying. Pray without ceasing. Praying without ceasing doesn't mean that you have to just keep on talking and talking to God. If it is the substance of your mind about, keep it in your mind that you're asking God for help. Keep it in your mind 24 hours a day, even in your sleep. And you dream about it, you talk about, you mentally think about it. That is how you pray without ceasing. And by doing that, you will be able to survive this very dangerous disease. how Canada is monitoring COVID-19. They're monitoring it right now. That's why we are even at a loss, because my wife and I, we like to travel a lot, but we cannot go anywhere now because the whole place is locked down. And because Canada is cold, but now it's good because it's starting to warm up now, and you can go out now warm. But I know in the States, I think they are open already. They go to restaurants, even without masks. I see them; they are being announced. But I hope Canada will follow soon, and some places by fighting it rigorously at first. Now they are able. They are already. They have passed that so-called danger zone. And there's these COVID-19 variants, which is more aggressive, and this easily spread genetic variation of viruses, such as the one that causes COVID-19, are common and expected. SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, will naturally develop mutations, which are changes of the genetic material in the virus over time. When there have been several significant mutation to the virus, then it's called a variant. A variant is of concern when it affects you. Because why? The variant is spread faster. The COVID-19 variant, it has a disease severity test used to detect the virus. They found out that that even the vaccines and treatments are not 100% sure to be able to fight it. That's why fight it right away with those things, through those things that I have suggested. And you have to monitor yourself, monitor your body. When you are near people, you make sure you have your mask. But try to breathe also. Go to the open air where there are not so many people, in the mountains, in the forest, in parks, and remove your mask when you are there, because this wearing of the mask weakens your body also. Because I noticed that when I'm wearing mask, you see, you're supposed to breathe out carbon dioxide, breathe in oxygen. So you breathe in oxygen, and then you breathe out carbon dioxide, and you breathe it again. So what does it do to your body? You're breathing in poison to your body. And only wear mask when you have people. So I usually, if I go out, I wear a mask, I put it down here. I try to, when there are nobody around, I breathe the natural air, because it's good for me. I don't like to wear mask when I'm alone in the car, or when I'm walking alone, or so on, when in the open field. But when there's somebody coming close to me, I just put it up like that. That's the way to protect yourself. But if there's nobody around, by all means, remove it. Breathe fresh air, because the mask sort of reduces your chance of breathing fresh air. So you don't need it, because this coronavirus does not really, it might travel a little bit in the air, but it usually just disappear from there. And contact us. If you have a problem, you have to know, how to contact. You have to learn how to coexist with in this kind of situation, with this COVID-19. You have to monitor yourself, monitor the things that are happening around, and you have to listen to news. You have to read. You have to listen to what the findings of science are. And here, difference between quarantine and isolation. People are asked to quarantine or isolate to help prevent the spread of COVID-19 to others. Although these two words are often thought to mean the same, there is an important difference. Quarantine, if you have no symptoms, and any of the following apply to you, you must quarantine for 14 days, starting from the date you arrive in Canada if you went somewhere. You're returning from travel outside of Canada, you're required to quarantine yourself. You're traveling to a province or territory that is enforcing 14-day quarantine for all interprovincial travelers. You had close contact with someone who is suspected of having COVID-19, if you've been told by the public health authority that you may have been exposed to COVID-19 and need to quarantine. You must isolate. Isolation is like this. Isolate if any of the following applies to you. If you've been diagnosed with COVID-19 or are waiting to hear about the results of a lab test, you have symptoms of COVID-19, even if mild, and you've been in contact with someone who has or is suspected to have COVID-19, you are told by public health that you may have been exposed to COVID-19. You've returned from travel outside of Canada with symptoms of COVID-19. So that's what you should do. And vaccination, they say, is to prevent it, protect you from inflicting, from contaminating other people. It reduced the burden on Canada's healthcare system during this pandemic. And follow health measures. And also, risk of getting COVID-19 if you go to crowded places, closed spaces. That's why they put a distance of 6 feet from each other. Close contact settings where you cannot keep 2 meters apart from each other. Close range conversation, setting where there's a singing, shouting, and heavy breathing, for example, during exercise. That's why these gyms are prohibited to open, because when exercising, when people are exercising, they're breathing heavy. And so that breath could, when they breathe out, it could carry some COVID-19 viruses as well. And false and misleading claims. Health Canada is closing tracking of potential drugs and vaccines in development in Canada and abroad. We are working with companies, academics, research centers, and investigators to help expedite the development of a variety of treatments to prevent and treat COVID-19, and so on. So I believe that that is all that we should take up for this evening. And let me see if we can end this program with another music, because music, it's always nice to have music. That's why I heard that I've learned that in heaven there'll be a lot of singing, because music sort of takes your mind away from problems. It will take our mind away from COVID-19. And if the music is spiritual, it brings you, puts you more, your mind closer to God. So let us try to see if we can find one here. Maybe here in the garden. So
oh hey,
during this
host of Asking for a Friend.
During this COVID-19,
I'm ready to help you answer your.
During this COVID-19 season, let's try to go to the let's go to a garden and breathe fresh air. And you can put down now. Breathe fresh air. We have to go to a garden and breathe fresh air and think about God, our Creator, and ask for His help. So let us sing this. Let us have this for our closing song. Let's invite our singers here again. Thank you. Thank you. You know, that is one way also of finding a cure to this COVID-19 and maybe other sickness, or if we can do it. Go to a garden as often as possible, because in a garden, God has created a nice, beautiful garden in this earth. It was only destroyed and marred because of sin. That's why there are some gardens with so many dry leaves and dirt and not kept properly. But if you go to some nice gardens where there are plenty of trees, plenty of plants, it's beautiful. And my wife and I, we make it a point that we go to some gardens and parks and open areas, because that is one way also of developing a stronger immune system. We shared it with you in the Facebook. You can see some of our postings there. We usually go to parks and gardens and open places, and you don't have to wear mask there. Breathe fresh air, because with plenty of oxygen in your body. Some people, they inject oxygen in their bodies because oxygen usually kills germs and fights diseases. So in gardens, in open spaces, in parks, you find them, or even in the ocean side. And we're looking forward. It's already getting warm in Canada, so we're looking forward to going to some beautiful gardens and parks again tomorrow. You know, there's not much that we can do. We cannot get together and party with people because it's prohibited. So go to a garden and enjoy your solemnity, like even in that song says, I come to the garden alone. And by looking at the beauty of nature, you are able to connect with God spiritually. Thank you so much for being with us. And as I've mentioned, remember, go support our ministry. Go to YouTube, search Noel Frias, and please click subscribe and notification. And we will appreciate that, because we know that you are supporting us, and you know that you're also helping us be able to share our messages to more people, and you're also helping others. And this is also one way of doing ministry. You don't have to be a preacher or lecturer yourself, but by helping people like us who volunteered themselves to be used as means to spread these good messages of love to others. You're helping us. You're also, like according to the Bible, if you help a preacher preach, and some people are brought to Christ because you have helped the preacher. It could be anything. It could be with money. It could be with support. It could be with prayer. When God gives the blessing to that preacher, you are equally blessed also for the blessing given for every person that is brought to the foot of the cross because of the preaching of the preacher and because of your help. So thank you so much. And at this time, we are not asking any help from you monetarily. So we're not asking for any money. But at least you can help us by clicking subscribe and notification bell, and by supporting us by attending our programs, following us, and by clicking like if you like the program. And if you don't like it, maybe you click like and put the comment that you don't like it. But click it or put some comments, and also ask questions if you have any, so we can it will challenge us to do more research and be able to improve ourselves with knowledge also as the result of our research. Thank you again, and may God bless all of you. We want you to know that we love you, and we're looking forward to, we hope this week passes fast again, pass by fast, go through fast, I mean, so that we'll see each other again on Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning. Thank you and good night. Let's bow heads for prayer. Dear God, thank you so much for being with us, for helping us, and for gracing us with your presence, that we were able to go through with this presentation of this health lecture in this evening. May this be what we have shared this evening about this disease called beriberi and some information about this COVID-19. May they be useful instrument for people who might be encountering these kind of diseases or who would like to prevent themselves from encountering diseases. And may this information be very helpful to them. I pray, dear Father, that you will now dismiss us with your blessings and please bless us through the week. Help us to all survive this week with good health and give us long lives so that we can wait for your coming. And when you come in the clouds of heaven, we pray that you will count each one of us to be among those people whom you will save in your eternal kingdom. This I ask. In Jesus' holy name, I pray. Amen. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you again, and good night to everyone.